Hello. Welcome to the fourth episode of Unsolved Clue. In this episode, we're going to talk about 5 heartbreaking and creepy places in the world. I invite you to check out this exciting video. Number 1. The Island of Dolls. The Island of the Dolls is for sure one of the weirdest places you can visit. It's located in a huge network of canals in the southern part of Mexico City. Pretty creepy. According to a local legend, the story goes back about half a century when a little girl drowned in the depths of the hidden island amidst the canals of Xochimilco. The only permanent resident of this island, a reclusive hermit named Don Julian Santana Barra, found her body. Pretty eerie, right? This man, who lived far away from his family and in solitude in the jungle, found the doll of the little girl nearby. As a sign of respect to her, he hung the doll, which was dirty and torn, on a tree. From then on, the spirit of the little girl became attached to that doll. Julian, to bring her more peace, started hanging more dolls on the tree. Creepy, right? These dolls are some burnt and some damaged by natural elements. Currently, there are around 2,200 dolls, out of which Julian, the owner of the island, has collected 1,000 of them. You can also bring dolls you don't want to this place and hang them on the trees. How creepy and fascinating, right? In 2001, after 50 years of collecting and hanging dolls, Julian passed away. Interestingly, his body was found exactly at the same spot where he had mentioned finding the body of the little girl before. The current owner of the island is one of Julian's direct relatives, who now lives on the island. People get really scared and freaked out when they come here. They believe that the spirits of the little girl and Julian are still wandering on this island. In fact, it's their spirits that cause those creepy sounds on the island. Some locals who have passed by the doll cemetery in their boats claim to have heard the dolls talking to each other. Some even say they've seen the dolls opening and closing their eyes. Tour agencies say that many people who visit this island either run away or cry out of fear after seeing the dolls. Others pass through the trees with their eyes tightly shut. Spooky, right? Number 2. Skeleton Coast. You know, beaches aren't always the peaceful and fun places we remember, where people come to soak up the sun or play in calm waters. Let's take a look at the northern part of the Atlantic Ocean coast in Namibia, also known as the Skeleton Coast. But hey, once you go there, there's no turning back. Portuguese sailors of the 16th century used to call it the Gates of Hell. Nowadays, it's known as the Skeleton Coast. It's actually part of the Namib Desert, a region where finding drinking water is almost impossible. Can you believe it? You're right by the sea. But if you don't have water with you, you could easily die of thirst. Here's the worst part of the story. If you're unlucky enough to die of thirst, the scavengers are waiting to tear you apart. These sandy hills are home to wild animals like desert lions, hyenas, and leopards, just waiting for a chance to snatch a living person. Another interesting thing is that as you walk along the coast, you'll come across about 1,000 shipwrecks. The treacherous waters, with strong currents, submerged rocks, thick fog, and raging winds have caused ships to meet their doom here for hundreds of years. Can you imagine the horror? Let's say you somehow survive a shipwreck and end up on this shore with hungry and wild animals, and not a drop of water to drink. It's genuinely a terrifying place, don't you agree? Number 3. Ghost Mousetrap. In California, USA, in the suburban area of San Jose, there's a beautiful and huge mansion surrounded by gardens. At first glance, it may look like any other million-dollar house, but inside, it has a whole different story. This mansion belongs to a woman named Sarah Winchester, and it's definitely one of the strangest houses ever built. It has 160 rooms, filled with architectural wonders and surprises. There are stairs that lead to the ceiling or concrete walls, doors that open to sloping heights, windows that open to other rooms, and even skylights between the rooms. These are just some of the marvels used in building this house. There are dozens of other unusual things that forced the builder to continue construction for 38 years. The story of the Winchester Mystery House in California starts after the death of Sarah's husband, William Wirt Winchester, in 1881. His death left Sarah with an enormous fortune, over $20 million, and 50% ownership of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, making her income around $1,000 a day. Although this amount of money was considered infinite back then, it meant nothing to Sarah. Nothing could ease her pain and suffering. 15 years earlier, she had lost her baby daughter in an accident, and losing her husband was another tragic event that shook her deeply. Over the course of 15 years, Sarah had lost her entire family. This profound grief and contemplating all these sorrows led Sarah to visit a person with extraordinary abilities, to hear the reason behind these events. He told Sarah that the spirits of people killed by Winchester rifles, which were manufactured in her husband's factory, had taken control of the Winchester family, and that the deaths of her daughter and husband were a consequence of that. Since then, Sarah decided to move to San Jose, California, and buy a property there to start building a mansion. But not an ordinary mansion, a mansion with unique architecture and design that would confuse and trap the spirits to leave her alone. Interestingly, Sarah had no knowledge of architecture, yet every morning when she woke up, she drew her own plans and blueprints and handed them to the architects. Her plans were messy and chaotic, with elements like doors to nowhere or staircases that lead to the ceiling. Everything made this house a mysterious and enigmatic architecture. One theory about the reason behind Sarah's construction of this house is that she wanted to confuse the spirits and trap them between thousands of twists and turns. However, we still don't know exactly what Sarah wanted to achieve and why she did all of this. During its time, this house was one of the most advanced ones, featuring various modern and expensive items. Gold and silver furniture and chandeliers, handcrafted parquet floors, glass lamps, and German bronze doors are some of the elements used in this house. Another interesting fact is that this mansion is non-expandable. It's impossible to develop without destroying many of its original parts. The construction of this mansion continued non-stop for 38 years until Sarah Winchester passed away in her sleep on September 5, 1922. It is estimated that she spent about $5.5 million on building this house. No wonder the Winchester House in California became a tourist attraction and earned the title of the Mystery House in 1924. Number 4. The Suicide Forest. The forest known as the best place to die is located in Japan and has become a destination where many people have taken their own lives, making it the second deadliest place after the Golden Gate Bridge. Since the 1950s, numerous Japanese traders have come to this forest, and at least 500 of them have never returned. In 2003, the record reached over 105 people, which is incredibly sad and mysterious. Some believe that suicides in this forest have an eerie effect on the trees, causing supernatural activities to occur and making it impossible for anyone to leave. There are rumors of paranormal activities due to the high magnetic iron content in the volcanic soil, which has fueled speculation about supernatural occurrences in the area. The vastness of the forest usually means that visitors won't come across anyone else during their visit. The atmosphere is eerie and depressing, earning it the nickname Sea of Trees. Local police have installed various signs throughout the forest with messages like "Your life is a precious gift from your parents" or "Please consult with the police before making a decision" in an effort to discourage suicides. One of the things the authorities have done to reduce suicides is not sharing accurate suicide statistics anymore. They believe that by not spreading detailed stats, the forest won't become more famous, and fewer people will be inclined to do the same. In the end, I gotta say it's sad that we still don't know what drives people to commit suicide in this forest. It's a mystery.